All right, welcome back, everyone, to the VIP Lounge. I'm your host, Vince McSham, welcoming you all back here on the Nation Network. It has been a few minutes, I know, since we've done one of these, and I have heard you. We've had people out there requesting that we do another one. It has been way too long. I meant to do a couple, actually, over the months that we've been in between. It's just been a timing thing, but I've got a little extra time tonight, so... For those of you that were on the last stream just moments ago, thank you. It was a great crowd. Love the buzz. Glad to see that able to still put up some content to get you guys talking, thinking, remembering, all that good stuff together. And it helps feed me as well, because I see some ideas that you guys got. And while I might not take all of them, it might also help me out with some other decisions that I make going down the line. So, Corey Andrews, how are you, buddy? And for those of you that will not be here and seeing this at a later point in time, Merry Christmas to everybody. Hope you have a very safe and happy holiday season. Infrared TV, buddy. Yeah, I made a little time. And hopefully everything's going all right. I'm getting warnings on the video resolution, but that normally doesn't stick around very long. It's usually an internet thing. So yeah, I mean, since last we talked, I really meant to do one of these right after I went to see AEW live here in Orlando, and that was shortly after CM Punk returned in Chicago. I'm trying to remember that was the one where it opened up with Dustin going up against Danielson. So I was at that show, and honestly, I thought Dark was better than Dynamite. I thought as a matter of fact, they had a guy whose name I can't think of at this moment. Big Samoan dude. And he was literally on the dark match, but you can watch it on YouTube. It's there. And I'm like, okay, they need this guy. They got to put him in. They got to use him. He's a monster, big guy. And damn, he could wrestle. He was good. The fact that I haven't really seen him since makes me shake my head. Here's a homegrown talent. It's not a WWE cast-off. And this guy is every bit of a Roman Reigns / Umaga / whatever Super Samoan you want to throw in there. He's a mix of all of it. But I am telling you what, they are missing the boat if they're not signing that dude and using the hell out of him. And he could go. He was legit. Yes, ROH is going to hang it up for a little while. I'll tell you what. I wish them well. I hope they come back from it, but, COVID has taken a lot of things, whether it's people's health, whether it's people's lives, whether it's people's freedoms, you name it down the list. But when I look at the NWA and I look at MLW, for me personally, they just didn't come out of it. They never... And it's unfortunate. I really felt the NWA was heading in the right direction. They were getting ready to go into the Crockett Cup, which I was all psyched for, and then everything got shut down. They have not come back from COVID well at all. It's just very, very hard to watch the product. I still have my monthly subscription to check them out, but I'm right on the fence of getting rid of it. I am. And then I didn't get the pay-per-view this time. I just have been underwhelmed with their pay-per-views. And this last one, I saw the highlights of it and just seeing the crowd. Now, somebody did bring to my attention it's because of COVID that, Georgia has regulations on crowd size. Two things. I was in Georgia during the height of COVID, and there weren't a damn son of a bitch out there wearing a mask. They didn't give a shit about COVID in Georgia. Number one. Number two, okay, so you're going to limit the number of people in the arena, but then they all get to sit shoulder to shoulder, back to back? You just crammed them all into the center section. So if it was a COVID thing, you would have spread them out. Unless all 40 people came together, which I doubt. But if you haven't seen even the highlights of Hard Times 2, and that's another thing I've got issues with the NWA, their titles are horrible. Absolutely horrible titles. But if you haven't seen any of the highlights, look them up on YouTube. They're there. It's like they were playing in front of 20 people, and it's your pay-per-view. And they actually had, for their standards, not a bad night so far as the matches. I don't know. I like Jax Dane by now should be the number one guy in the title picture, and then they bring in what's his name there? Matt Cardona. I love Matt Cardona. But, dude, you're the king of the death matches, and then you're over on Impact. And it's like, pick something, own it, work it. I get you're a free agent. You want to make money 6 days a week. I can't blame you for that. But to be in a world title picture, I feel like you have to have more than just run in on the champion at the end of the match, you know? That's, as Jim Cornette would say, lazy booking. Corey Andrews, do not apologize, sir. You have all the opportunities in the world to go back and watch it. I think you will like it. Tonight was a special episode. Not going to spoil anything for you, but you definitely want to see some of it. But anyway, I'm hoping ROH comes back. But when you're going to shut your company down for a couple of months and you're going to release all your talent, what can we say? I mean, look at NXT. What could possibly go right? And there's that tragic mess. I almost feel like Hunter knew what was about to happen before it happened, and that's what put him in the hospital. All the work, the brand recognition that he made, NXT Black and Gold was legit. It was a fun company while it lasted. And now it looks like Disney just threw up all over the place. I mean, it looks like a kid's Saturday morning set. It's embarrassing. I can't watch it. I haven't watched any of it hardly, except for the first one. I just want to see how bad they were going to screw the pooch, and sure as hell, they did not disappoint. Then you got Rick Steiner's kid in there. He's going to be shot up to the moon on a rocket. Only problem is we can't let you know it's Rick Steiner's kid, but we're going to kind of tell you it's Rick Steiner's kid anyway. It's like, why are you not taking advantage of the name recognition? Okay, so you won't own the name, and he might leave the company, and if he's smart, he'll leave the company real soon. Although he's young, you know what? Make the big dollars while you can, and you're young, I guess. Infrared, he's not a bloodline guy. Who are we talking about? Oh, the guy I was mentioning? He probably is, if that's who you're talking about. It wouldn't surprise me in any way, shape, or form if somehow... Although I think he's supposed to be from Australia. And I think he has like a legit Australian accent, too. But whatever night that Dynamite aired, and I can't recall the date, where, like I said, Danielson went up against Dustin in the opening contest... That same date, you should be able to find Dark. And he's, I believe, either the first or second match of the night. It was a tag team match. And I'm telling you what, I can't remember the guy's name. I actually made a version of him in 2K19. I just haven't been using 2K19 much. Can you believe that? I have my whole 80s roster on the 2K20, though, so that's why. And you guys definitely have been responding to the 2K20 and the roster more than anything, so... got to go where the numbers are. That's not to say I'm not going to do anything with the AEW stuff anymore. I still enjoy that, but I needed a break from it as well. And most of the ideas I was coming up with, I just felt like were rehashed crap. I'll tell you now because I'm not going to do it, but I was going to do another version of an NWO kind of thing where you'd have the CM Punks and the Christians and the WWE guys that have been brought in and signed, and it was going to be the E team instead of the A team. You know, it was going to be the E team. But the more I thought about it, the more it's like, and do what? Everything that's already been done before? Nah. And I'm actually having a lot more fun with the 80s stuff right now. So I go through these little waves, and hopefully you guys will bear with me when I come around to the AEW wave again, because I enjoy that as well. I'm borderline canceling my NWA season and kind of wrapping it up, but I haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. I was going to do it. I was starting to think I can delete all these guys that I'm not going to use, and then I can get more, because AEW's roster is insane. So if I can clear out the NWA roster, it gives me more room to put more AEW guys in there. But I just, part of me couldn't do it. So I'm still sticking with the NWA for a little bit longer anyway. Yeah, GPS. But here was my point. Yes, okay, so they're run by the government, and they're going to cap the number of people, but I would still think logic would say, okay, you got this many people, and they have to be this many feet apart unless they're living in the same household. Yet they were all just smushed in the middle, shoulder to shoulder. And I'm willing to bet they don't all live in the same house. So it's the dumbest logic I've ever seen. And not for nothing, Billy Corgan knew that up front. It's a pay-per-view. I work at a place here in Florida. It's a small arena. Perfect size for him. He wouldn't fill it, but he'd probably draw 1,000, maybe, if you promote it well. But he also hasn't been to Florida, which is stupid. The NWA flourished. It owned Florida. Championship Wrestling from Florida, Mike Graham and Dusty Rhodes and all those guys. I mean, it was Florida wrestling. How he hasn't done it, I mean, going to friggin' BFE up north. I was going to say Baltimore. It wasn't Baltimore. What the hell's St. Louis at the Chase. And I'm like, all right, yeah. You're going to say there's history there? There's history in Orlando, pal. I hate to tell you, it's a lot easier drive, a lot cheaper moving the team and the crew down here and setting up plenty of venues to choose from of all sizes, all shapes. But he's missing the boat right now by going to St. Louis and not coming to Florida. I just don't understand his logic in that. I think there's a very strong NWA country that would come out to support the NWA. You'd have to promote it, like I said. And the biggest mistake he has made, hands down, and I get the logic, you want to make some money. But when you took the product off of YouTube, talk about shooting yourself in the foot. He built the audience on YouTube. You get your pay-per-view money. That's where you're making the money. Now, I guess, I'm sure Fight's paying them well. I don't know how well. Well enough to leave YouTube. But I just think that his actual viewing audience is probably 50% or less of what it was on YouTube. And that's a big cut. And I don't know that the money is going to make up for it. No, you know what, Infrared? I disagree. They don't need to get out of GPS Studios. That's where they need to do their Saturday shows. And what they need to do is the proper, well, they're trying to do it as well as they can. The problem is there's not too many people in the NWA that can cut a promo at all. Most of them are horrible. And there's not very much direction being done. So I don't know if it's just like he's letting the guys do their own thing. But that's not working in most cases. The last time he had someone who knew how to cut a real good promo was Eli Drake, and we know how that turned out. Now he's cutting promos for somebody else. But I definitely would want to see them stick with GPS Studios because, again, that's part of their identity. But, again, only your Saturday show. You're sure as hell not going to do it for a pay-per-view. Yeah, Nickelodeon, Disney, it just looks bad. It just looks horrible. And not only do they make it look like a kid's show, but then they turn around and I guess, I haven't watched it, but from what I hear, it's like borderline PG-14 now, and there's possibilities of rating changes. And well, then why are you looking like you're trying to draw kids in if you're going to be doing that? Thank you, Juan, and once again, happy birthday. Thank you for joining us on your birthday the other night. That was cool. And I really like the way Superstars turned out tonight. Anytime I'm going live with a big scene and a big moment, there's a lot of stuff I have to do behind the scenes and button pushing at the right time, and then you got to hope the gameplay will match up accordingly to what you want to match up to the cutscenes and stuff like that. So it doesn't always turn out the way I want it to. Tonight it did. I'm happy with that, and I'm glad you guys are liking it. Yeah, Impact. Oh, yeah. I try. I still record it, and I'll watch most of it on fast forward. I get it. They don't have the budget. They blew the money that they used to have once upon a time. But you have to have some kind of studio arena. And I ain't talking about that shoebox that they got right now and the 20 fans that come out every week. There's just no way to get any heat or any... you look like a Mickey Mouse company, although that's actually an insult to Mickey Mouse because that's a billion-dollar company, and they are not. They just look cheap. So they can get all the talent they can get. And some of it's being used well, actually. And I think some of their storylines aren't horrible. But then you come out to 40 people in the stands, and that's a capacity crowd, by the way. Not to knock it, they're selling out. I'm sorry, I wish more for them. Now that they actually have a respectable roster. Now you need a respectable arena to go with it. And it's a good thing, bad thing with wrestling right now, because there are finally some alternatives. WWE is deader than dog shit, okay? I grew up on that product from day one. I've always been a WWF guy. When the Monday Night Wars, I was watching both of them, but at the end of the day, I wanted WWF to win. Now, when the NWO was killing it, I'm watching NWO and recording WWF, and I'm watching that going, that was cute, but not so good. Until things started turning around with the Austin angle, and then I started, switching over like most people apparently did. And it's very interesting. If we don't learn from history, we're bound to repeat it. To watch the way that wave, it didn't just turn, but it crashed down to the point where WCW at the end was a joke, taking the titles off of everybody, and we're going to restart everything, and oh my God, it was just so bad. And then next thing you know, you got David Arquette as your world champion and Vince Russo as your world champion, and just any way we can ruin our product just a little bit more. Let's put our minds together and figure out how we can really stick a dick up the ass of this thing. Man. And I feel like that's what's happening again, only it's the WWE doing it this time. How can we screw up our product? I know. We'll let all of our talent go. Let's start with our biggest merchandise seller. Now, I've heard rumblings that he's not really gone, that they always told him, hey, this is just about money. We're going to come back and sign you after a few months. So think about it. They release you. You get paid for the 90 days. That's why it's a non-compete, because they have to be able to pay you. You can't stop somebody from earning a living. So he gets a 90-day vacation paid, and maybe takes a month off on his own time. Not that he ain't got the money. And they bring him back. And what would be, they're going to need a big pop because they're running out of pop. You can't get The Rock to show up at his own event. Cena just doesn't have that it factor at this point in time that he did. Yeah, the fans would pop for him, but I don't know that many people want Cena back yet. There'll be a day 5 years from now they might. But I'll tell you what, let The Fiend show up. Oh, my Lord. The roof will go off, the walls will come down, and all will be right with the universe. And the only reason I want him back in the WWE, selfishly, is because that's the only way he can be The Fiend. But one thing we know about this guy, he can take anything and turn it into gold. He's proven it time and time again. I've been a fan of his since the Husky Harris days. I actually liked Husky Harris. I thought, man, what was his little moniker back then? The Ferrari engine in the Sherman tank or something like that. Even that I was cool with. But then when the Bray Wyatt thing happened in Championship Wrestling from Florida, or Florida Championship Wrestling as they called it, man, he took that character from the very first promo, and I've said this on this program before. If you haven't seen the very first Bray Wyatt promo back in Florida Championship Wrestling, you need to watch that. That is like promo class 101. He just developed this entire backstory in about 3 minutes, and it was compelling. It pulled you in, and you're like, oh, shit, this is legit, man. And you knew that he wasn't Bray Wyatt, but it didn't matter because he is now. He was all in on that character, and he let me forget that he wasn't a few weeks earlier. And I was like, okay, we're doing Bray Wyatt. And normally I would have got stuck on the fact that he looked like another version of Waylon Mercy at that time. And even Waylon wasn't an original character, but I digress. And I didn't even get hung up on that because he was so damn good with his promos that this was his character. It wasn't anyone else's ever before. Might have been a little similar, but he totally took this thing to another level. And you don't see that happen too much anymore. 70% down from YouTube. Yeah, I'm still watching Infrared too, but I'm getting close to that point where, and it's not a lot of money. What is it, $10 a month or something? I don't even remember anymore. $5 a month. But if I'm not going to watch the product, I'm not going to pay for it. And I'm getting close to the point where, like I said, their promos are horrible. And I'll tell you, if I do pull the plug on it, it'll be for one thing that pushes me over to that side of saying no more money. Velvet Sky. Absolute worst. I can't tell you. If you're not watching the program, then you're probably lucky. I want Mike Adamle back over her. She's horrible. She is monotone. She is boring. She's clueless. I'm sorry. She might be a nice girl, don't get me wrong, and I didn't really watch her in the ring, so I can't tell you how good a wrestler she was or wasn't. But she sucks on the mic so bad. It's every time she talks, I just want to change the channel. And I'm paying for that channel. That's not a good thing. She's unwatchable. She really is to me. And then they have Austin Idol sometimes joining them on the broadcast team. That is brilliant. You have an NWA legend. He kind of has that Jesse Ventura thing going on where he's got the heel point of view. But then when the two of them are on the panel, or three, sometimes you got Tim Storm in there as well. Now it's way too much of a crowd. Anytime Velvet and Austin are on the same panel at the same time, they just fight with each other the whole time, and it's not even good. It's not entertaining. She doesn't even show any emotion in that. It's just the same monotone delivery, and now you're talking over the match, and it's just, oh my God, I can't stand her. Cannot stand her on a microphone. Nothing against her as a human being, but God almighty, she shouldn't be on a microphone any more than I should be in charge of the next space program. What else we got here? It's not even 20 people. Are you telling me it's less? Because it looks like it's only 2 rows. So you know what? It could be less. It might be 2 rows on each side of the ring. So you're right. It probably isn't even 20. And it sounds horrible. When you can hear individual conversations, that's not a good thing. There's got to be a way to get a better facility or make that one seat more or something. I don't know, but you can't be serious or taken serious, and then you want to do a pay-per-view. What the hell? Put some asses in an arena and then talk to me. These are indie shows at this point in time. Nothing more than indie shows. All right, what else are we talking about here? Yeah, that's true. NWA USA, they just they just announced it recently. Last week, I believe, was the first time they mentioned it. We'll be coming here to YouTube, in case anyone wasn't aware of that. I'll be curious to see how that turns out and who's going to be appearing on that program. But they need to do a better job on the promos for sure. I mean, they need somebody to go in there and give them a master class because... oh, it's just bad. It's really, really bad. I think Trevor might have done 1 or 2 good ones. All this recently, like 2 weeks ago, had, I thought, a good one, but only the first one I can really say that I thought was good. I'm not entirely sure with what they're doing, taking him out of Strictly Business, and I still hate the name Strictly Business. High Society is a much better name, and I won't even charge you for it, Billy. You can have it. Bring me in, Billy. I'm only 1 state away. I can come over and visit. We can Skype. But yes, I do believe NWA coming back on YouTube is the right thing. They need that. I can't get into MLW like I did. Again, for me, the product before COVID, I was loving it. You guys know that. Totally into MLW before COVID. Watching I thought they had the best factions going. Hands down, across the board. Whether it was Contra, or whether it was the Misfits. I can't remember their names now, but the dudes that were wearing like the prison suits and all that. I can't remember the names right now. I'm just drawing a blank. But anyway, didn't matter. The Von Erichs, I was okay with them. The Hart Dynasty, I was cool with that. I thought they had some really good factions, and now, yeesh, not so much anymore. I'm glad they finally put the belt on Hammerstone, and I still am a huge Hammerstone fan. I don't want him ever to go to WWE, man. God knows they will waste him to shit. I wouldn't even put him on NXT because I'm just going to fodder him out then to Rex Steiner. But I wouldn't mind seeing him. I wouldn't mind seeing him in Impact if they were going to get to a better sized crowd. But AEW, and I hate saying it because now how many people are going to go to AEW? I mean, they're already overloaded with their roster, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, okay? Because it does keep everybody healthy, and it gives them more time off, which has always been a wrestler's biggest complaint. You know, when you're traveling almost 280 days a year and city to city, plane to plane, hotel to hotel, you don't get to see your kids growing up and all that stuff. So Tony Khan has the money, I guess, to make it happen right now. I don't know that he's turning a profit, though. I mean, whatever TV deals he's got have to be paying the majority of it. I didn't get the last pay-per-view, and I'm glad I didn't based on the results. I got the one before that with CM Punk's return because, hey, with CM Punk's return, I wasn't going to miss it. And that was the best damn pay-per-view I have seen probably since Canadian Stampede. Going all the way back to In Your House. I just thought that it was a solid pay-per-view. And, of course, the two big surprises at the end. I mean, it does. They did it right. They did it right. Jeff Hardy. Oh, yeah, Jeff Hardy. And MLW, just to wrap up on that. Yeah, the Lucha Underground thing, I was cool with it. I always loved Dario Cueto. I thought he did a great job. I forget what name he's going by now. Yeah, anyway. But I like him in his role. I just don't feel like now he's got the right things around him so far as, you know, you don't have the Aztec thing going on. You don't have the, what was that championship title they had? The title of the gods or whatever it was. You don't have that, and that was good stuff. I mean, they should have done better than they did and lasted longer than they did, and things just didn't work out for them, I guess. But they had a good roster. They had a good arena. Again, look at the size of that arena in California. That's not a huge arena, but it was a good crowd. And those season-ending episodes that were their pay-per-view, so to speak, they were better than anything Impact's done. Matter of fact, when I record all my Impact stuff, that also includes the pay-per-views that they replay now on free TV. So I'm going back, getting a chance to watch some of the pay-per-views from the last several years that I haven't watched, and they are mostly garbage. I mean, there's almost nothing. I couldn't tell you right now one match that I have seen on any of the Impact pay-per-views where I'm like, okay, this was a good match. I can't think of a one. But I really did think that, and I'm sorry because they were on Netflix for a while, at least with this, 3 seasons that existed, so you could go back and watch, and then they took it off of Netflix too. But I did think Lucha Underground was good. I don't think it's a good fit for MLW, and I don't think it's working. That said, he can still make it work. He could be in there doing what he's doing, but I just think they have to go a different direction than what I've seen, and I haven't watched a lot of the products, so I'm not necessarily talking on firm ground here. Jeff Hardy, though, I can feel sorry for a guy. I can feel bad for a guy. I can wish him well, but at some point in time, enough's enough. Now, the reports are that AEW is refusing to sign him. They're not signing him today because he just got let go by a company for being inebriated again on the job. And it's a track record that he's had. But if you're going to tell me that they won't offer him assistance, I know the WWE did, and he refused it. Good way to get out of your contract, isn't it? He did it at a house show. Almost makes you think he did it on purpose. By the way, Charlotte, are you taking notes? This is how you get out of your contract. Although now I'm not so sure she wants out. I mean, if her and Andrade are legitimately split up, then I don't know why she'd want to go to AEW necessarily. They've got a good women's program, don't get me wrong. She has already fought and beat everybody in the WWE. Who wouldn't want to see her and Britt Baker? A lot of those matches over there would kind of book themselves a little bit, but yeah, we'll see if that ever happens. Never say never. And Andrade is another good example of what happens with some of the WWE talent when they're released and they get to go to a place like AEW. Because I couldn't stand him in the WWE, and I told you guys that. To me, he was just another version of Alberto Del Rio, and it's like, I didn't like the first one. But now, all of a sudden, he's not. He's still kind of dressed similarly, although just a nice suit. Doesn't have the big scarf and stuff like that. But now he's more of a badass. And I can dig watching this guy wrestle, all right? And I do. Where I wasn't... And you all remember, man, wasn't that long ago, less than a year ago, on a VIP lounge, and we were talking about Adam Cole, and I was burying the guy. Again, didn't have anything against him personally, but there was nothing about him I found believable. He was undersized, so small, and this and that and the other thing, and I'm sure he's never heard that before. I love the guy. Watching him in the AEW, it's not like it's the same guy anymore. And what this tells me is something, I mean, you got Britt Baker, you got Aleister Black, you got Adam Cole. A lot of the guys in the WWE that I can't stand watching isn't really their fault. It's the WWE. Because as soon as they get free and get to do a little bit of their own stuff and show that they have creative ability, they're damn entertaining. They're fun to watch. And I'm loving me some Adam Cole. NWA 75 pay-per-view. I got that one, infrared, and yeah, it was a little bit ugh. It was a little bit ugh. And Velvet Sky is god awful on a microphone. Just is. And it doesn't have to be bad, though, Juan. That's the whole thing. It doesn't have to be bad. You've got the lead announcer. What's his name? Drawing a blank right now. I'm just tired. It's been a long friggin' day. My brain's already half shut down. But I had to be here with you guys. It's been too long. Drawing a damn blank on the announcer's name. Anyway, if you put him together with Austin, then you got something. He's good. Okay? Austin Idol is good. Doing, again, the Jesse Heel kind of thing. And that's it. Tim Storm, great guy. But like Velvet, it's a plain piece of white paper. There's no excitement in there. He doesn't... no, I'm sorry. He just isn't... He's not... He ain't going to put asses on the TV screen. NWA United States, I don't know why. I don't think it's going away once it's here. I mean, if it does, then it tells me NWA is probably going away too. They're struggling, man, and it's unfortunate. Joe Galley, thank you so much, Infrared. This is how I keep my sanity, keep people around that have memories. Every day I start to think to myself, oh my God, I'm going to be like Joe Biden. And, why am I here? Love when the leader of the free world doesn't remember why he's in a room. So, yeah, Joe Galley and Austin Idol. Bam. That works. Get everyone else the hell away from a microphone. Because the bottom line is you ain't got... Who in the NWA... Let's think about this for just a moment. Who in the NWA... I like Jax Dane, the look. I like Jax Dane, the way he moves in the ring, the way he wrestles, his style. And I wouldn't even mind him taking the title away. But my God, even Superman had kryptonite, and the microphone is his. The little bitty promos that he has done with the... I'm so tired. You got Joe Galley and... The bald dude who does the ringside report interviews. And he's another one could be on the broadcast team. He's basically the ring announcer, and then he does the podiums there. But he's got a good sound. He's got a little grit to his voice. He's got the excitement down for sure. And honestly, I'm just like, give me that place for a month. And it wouldn't be a lot of major changes. Yeah, there'd be some. And mostly the broadcast team, number one. First and foremost. I would keep Galley. I would throw Austin in there. And then I'm sure one of you is going to. Mike Davis. Is it Mike Davis? No. He does have two first names. And maybe it is Mike Davis. You're probably right. I mean, it's the bald guy that does all those little interviews where Tyrus kind of puts his hand on top of his bald head like he's a toy. But again, that's your commentary team right there. Those three. You want to put Velvet on the podium interviews? What the hell? Because it's really the wrestler's job to carry that, and if they can't, they can't, and nobody's going to help them with it. Kyle Davis. That's what it is. So you got Kyle Davis, Joe Galley, and Austin Idol. Home run. And they've got talent that they're not using very well right now. Hold on one moment. They've got, I was going to say Shad Gaspard, sorry. The other half. No, that's all right, man. My brain's just fried tonight. And I got to be up at zero dark stupid in the morning, do it all over again. It's going to be a long weekend for me. Long weekend. What's the other half of Crime Time there that they got in the NWA? Man, this boy is bringing it. And he is absolutely, in my opinion, wasting his breath doing it. He's bumping like a mother. Yeah, refresh my memory now. What title are they going to be bringing in? They don't need more titles. They need more talent on the mic. They're struggling right now. And like I said, they were really riding a pretty good wave going into COVID. I was getting the pay-per-views. I was enjoying them. I was so looking forward to see what they were going to do with the Crockett Cup. Surprised they haven't brought it back already by now. JTG, thank you, my Lord. But he is, every time he's in the ring, man, he's busting his ass, and he is taking some of the best bumps. And I'll tell you another guy they lost that they shouldn't have is Zicky Dice. And to hear Zicky tell the story, somebody might have been a little upset that he was getting too popular with the fans too quickly, and that somebody might have been Nick Aldis. There's always two sides to every story, and I know that, but sounds kind of possible to me. I have a funny feeling that's a 80% legit story. And now he's on Impact where they are doing nothing with him. He's a Kurt Hawkins flunky. Great idea. Zicky can mess with a microphone, man. I mean, he's a guy that you want to give a microphone to. Yes. And then they don't. They make him a stooge. When you're Impact Wrestling, you don't have the luxury of, oops, I guess that wasn't done right. You have to hit home runs. You have to understand who your players are. They don't know their own team. They don't realize who should be getting a microphone, especially now with Sami Callihan. I'm presuming he's still out with this injury he sustained. Somebody needs to rise up. And Kurt Hawkins, great guy. Love his podcast. Love watching his wrestling figure stuff. Is he exciting? Have I ever bought a ticket to see a Kurt Hawkins match? No. If I'm at the matches and his match comes up, am I watching the match? I'm probably going to get a beer. But Zicky has something there. And if no one's seeing it, no one's developing. I mean, the NWA screwed the pooch because they wanted to keep their champion happy, and I believe that. I just think Zicky Dice is one of the least used properly talents out there of a guy who could really help you get your product on the map. I'm a fan. They're bringing the junior heavyweight title? Oh, my God, why? They need that like a prefrontal lobotomy. The junior heavyweight. Oh, my God. That's a story that Zicky told. Well, like I said, I saw him do it on one of the, I don't know if it was his podcast or somebody's, everybody's got a podcast now except me. But I definitely saw him tell the story, and he didn't actually mention Aldis by name, but then the interviewer pulled it out, basically kind of filled in the blanks, and he didn't disagree with it. The learning tree. Whoa, stop. In that little group and faction, whom exactly is the learning tree? Kurt Hawkins? And again, I love the guy. This is we're just talking about wrestling, and as a wrestler and as a personality that sells merch and, puts asses in chairs, okay? If I'm going to, under the learn, and not say you can't learn from Kurt Hawkins. Yeah, he's been around a while. He's been in the biggest promotion there is. There's information he'll have to share with you. But to the degree where you're a flunky and that you get garbage TV time, I never got the vibe off of Zicky Dice that he would be cool with something like that. And not for nothing, if I'm in charge of Impact, if I'm like the guy, I'm not letting him settle for that role. I'm not saying he can't be with all those guys. Let's put it this way. The learning tree is backstage. So he can still associate with guys like Kurt Hawkins and whoever else and still pick their brains and get information. Hey, watch my match and let me know what you think. But for the love of God, he needs to be out there as a solo act with a microphone doing what he does because he's damn good at it. Better than anyone else they got. Tell me one guy Impact has that's better on a microphone than him. I can't think of a single one. What, Moose? And I love Moose. What an athlete. What a freaking athlete. For a guy that big, the way he climbs the ropes in one step and just turns around. Hats off to him. Glad he's got the belt. He looks like a champion. He looks like the kind of guy you'd want to put the title on. But, man, once that microphone comes up, there's that kryptonite again. Again, I like Brian Myers as a person. I do. But I would definitely go with Matt Cardona. To me, is a better learning tree. I think he's had more success. I think he does it better. Matt Cardona's personality is definitely more engaging to a television audience, in my opinion. And I'm sure numbers would back that up. I don't know what the quarter-hour numbers are for Impact, but I'm willing to bet that if Matt Cardona has one quarter and Brian Myers has a quarter, that those numbers are going to be pretty slanted in one direction. But again, I think the guy is cool as hell. Love watching him on YouTube do his other stuff. And part of it is honestly the outfit they have him in, which I guess he probably has some say in that, but it's just, there's nothing about it that's cool. It's just, you got those Bret Hart tights kind of thing with a black and a gray color scheme and nothing of any real pop. He needs to get some Nickelodeon on him. Well, Cardona's going to have to turn heel at this point because he just turned heel. Well, he wasn't even there to turn anything, but he became a heel when he entered the NWA. He needs to get out of all forms of death match, okay? That, man, not for nothing, man. Dude, you're legit. And I don't want to sound too much like Jim Cornette, but that carny bullshit, guerrilla wrestling, whatever frig league that is, no. Combat wrestling organization or whatever crap they call that shit, that they think they're ECW. ECW told stories. ECW had wrestling. Yeah, there were some table spots and shit, but it wasn't every match every night and trying to see who can bleed more. They weren't violence for violence. They were violence for telling a story, and they did it in a certain kind of way, and they were the first. They were the originators. That GCW crap or whatever it is, he needs to stay the hell away from that. He's a legit wrestler. He's got the build for it. He actually still a little over the top, in my opinion. I wish he'd be a little bit more just Matt Cardona without the WWE tweak on it. But he's been in that company for, over a dozen years? It's probably not going to be easy to pound it out. And at the same point in time, I don't know that there's anybody backstage at Impact that's going to help him see it. But he's still kind of like, mugs it up a little for the camera in that WWE kind of way. And in my world, if I'm booking him, I'm going to have him sit down and watch a bunch of Shane Douglas tapes on promos and deliver it more that style. Just be a badass. Because he can pull that off. Stay away from the friggin' death matches because that's bullshit. And you got a super hot wife. Hello, Elizabeth Macho Man. Use it. That twosome should be the package, period. And she can wrestle, unlike Elizabeth. So, yeah, she has her own matches as well. They can, he could be in her corner for hers. She's in his corner for his. Get some mixed tag matches out of it as well. It's a win-win. Yeah, GCW, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Nick Gage. I mean, come on. People say he's a wrestler. He's not a wrestler. He's an embarrassment to the promotion of wrestling. Toothless piece of crap. Dumbest son of a bitch in the world. Robs a bank and gives his name. And it's like, come on, man. But it proves one thing. You could sell shit on a stick, and there is somebody out there that's going to say that is amazing. They're going to love it. There's an audience for everything. Not a big one, but there's an audience. All right, boys and girls and children of all ages, we've done pretty good here. We're at 50 minutes already. But my throat's starting to get raspy. I can feel it coming on, and I got a really early morning and a long day and a long weekend. Yeah. Which is why we're not doing Saturday night's main event this Saturday, because there is no way I'll be able to pull that off, as in tomorrow. But I'm very hopeful for the following Saturday that we'll be able to do it. So that's going to be the game plan as of now. Worst case scenario, I might have to record it in advance and then just do like a premiere episode for it so it airs on Saturday. Hey, that's what they used to do in real life, isn't it? I just prefer doing it live so I could see the feedback coming in. Because just like real wrestling, guys, when you guys are chatting it up in there, it helps me a lot because I get to see what you guys are taking out of it. And sometimes you interpret stuff I'm doing differently than I was planning on. And then I'm like, okay, do I want to stick with this? Because it's going to be a hell of a screw job that they don't see coming. Or I actually kind of like some of those ideas better. But feeding off the crowd, doing what I do, is the same as real wrestling. And if you're not feeding off the crowd, then you're not providing them with the product that they're going to want to watch. And I like the challenge sometimes of like, oh, okay, they want to see this. Well, let's see. How are we going to make that work? Can't believe they wasted a Dark Side episode on Gage. I can't believe they wasted a segment on AEW. A main event, no less. I mean, geez, what, it was Sting, right? Or was it Moxley? Or wait a minute, I'm drawing a blank now. Which was Sting, I believe, right? That the icon that had to get in the ring with that piece of shit. No, Moxley would have liked it. And I got to tell you, I was a bigger John Moxley fan when he was Dean Ambrose and when he first left than I am now. Because he's just, I guess I didn't know his previous career so well and realized that he grew up in that garbage wrestling. And the fact that he's so willing to go back to it's like, you got a wife and a kid, dude. And I'm sure a lot of them do, but the difference is you don't need that. I mean, you don't need bookings. That's not a problem for you. You got Japan. You got AEW. You can easily go and pick up a couple of shifts over at Impact. You don't need to get in the ring and blade the shit out of yourself anymore. But whatever, hey. What do I know? Well, not only appear on Dynamite, but that death match, I mean, that was arguably better than that piece of crap they did on the pay-per-view with the ring that didn't explode. Oh, it was Jericho. That's right. Well, still another icon. And not for nothing, Jericho's way past his prime, and the last thing he needs to be doing is carrying dead weight. You're going to make Jericho look good, then you got to put him with somebody who can make up for the fact that he's older. Yeah, Sting wasn't stupid enough to get in the ring with that piece of shit. Hell, he got in the ring with Seth Rollins and see how that turned out. All right, guys and girls, I don't know. I've got a small segment of my subscribership that is female out there. And when I say small, we're talking minute, tiny, SM all, okay? But it's there, so in case you're just kind of chilling out and watching this and not actually commenting, that's cool. All are welcome. Oh, welcome. Step into the light. Some of you will get that. All right, that's it. We're going to call it a day. As the old saying goes, you don't got to go home, but we got to get up out of here. Thank you for joining me here in the VIP Lounge. Always, always, always a pleasure to get to sit down and chat it up with you guys and see what's good. We'll be back and do it a little bit more often. I've been meaning to do this for so long. Things just been one thing after another. You know what I'm saying? I know you do. All right, until that time, I want to thank you guys for being here. I want to see you again in the near future. Have a great night. We'll definitely be back on doing stuff before Christmas, but if I don't see you between now and then, have a very safe and Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, or whatever it is that you celebrate this time of year. And I'll see you on the flip side. This is Vince McSham saying so long from the VIP Lounge.